Some wisdom is found on the surface, and some wisdom takes us deeper. Welcome to Get Deep, where we dive into the thoughts, truths, and affirmations that help us grow, reflect, and move forward. I'm Deborah Deep Mouton, and every episode will explore the power of words, the strength of resilience, and the beauty of introspection. Come in, take a seat, and let's get deep. So you want to talk about getting out of your comfort zone. I write operas. Done. I think it's the most weird thing that I've ever done and found pleasure in ever. You know, I don't think as a young Black girl growing up, anyone told me that writing for classical music and for theater at the same time was something that was accessible for me. I found it by happenstance. I was working in the city as a poet, performing and leading workshops, serving as poet laureate in the middle of teaching high school classes in composition. On my off periods, I would do news interviews or try to sneak out early just so that I could get to events on time. And in all of that, I received an email asking to meet with me from our local opera affiliate. I thought it was a little weird, but I had promised myself for 2 years that I would say yes to anything that came my way, within reason. And this felt like a conversation I was willing to have. I remember the woman showing up from the opera with a picture book of Marian Anderson saying, "We want to write an opera about her, but we want to make it modern and relevant. We were thinking maybe you could help." They had this idea that somehow I could infuse spoken word into opera. A thing that honestly, I'd only seen a couple of times in videos, but never attended live because, you know, everything tells us that opera is for the elite. It is fur coats and diamond necklaces. It is 5-hour performances, listening to people belt the highest notes possible. This is how we see it. But in reality, the more research I did, the more I realized that opera is actually the people's theater. It started out in the streets being something that was much more pedestrian, where people were able to put together small shows of small ensembles, and people could celebrate the storytelling. There was something about that that intrigued me. Also, I've always had a song in my heart. So I set out to write my first opera, Googling what is a libretto as my first act, this text that I was supposed to create that was both sung and served as dialogue at the same time. It seemed tricky. It seemed challenging, but I've never shied away from a challenge. I spent about a year drafting and working with a composer, trying to put all the pieces together. And the first night I got to see it on stage, I fell in love. There was this thing that was compiled of all the things I love, dance and theater and song, and somehow also Blackness in ways that I never imagined. I mean, opera really only boasts Porgy and Bess as the one thing that you can see Blackness, and it wasn't even written by a Black person. But this new modern shift towards enveloping stories seemed like one I wanted to be a part of. And so now I write operas. That's a crazy thing to say, but I found my feet there in this space that I never thought would exist, far outside of my comfort zone. I found a reward in being challenged and meeting the challenge where it was. Not shying away opened an entire new world to me where I found my voice even more. So what's challenging you today? What's making you scared? The reality is, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. So dream bigger. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. I hope this moment of reflection stays with you, guides you, and reminds you to keep going. If you found value in this episode, let's keep the conversation going. Follow me on Instagram at Live Life Deep and share your thoughts, your wisdom, and your light. And if you're enjoying the podcast, the best way to support it is simple. Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support helps others find this space of growth and inspiration. This has been a Gemini's production. You can explore some of the other podcasts on the network by going to GeminisProductions.com or following on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at Gemini's Productions. Until next time, remember, you've been given today. What you do with it is up to you.